I'm all in. This is me. Social life has been limited. I don't want a vacation. I want to create a legacy and create something that hasn't been done before. I will say we've created one of the first platforms for athletes to have a safe space to talk about business. You can go get an MBA or learn from a Stanford PhD, or you can listen to some of your favorite athletes in the same space you want to learn about. We've done and tried a lot of shit. This is business through a different voice you're not accustomed to hearing.
Yeah.
So happens that the person you're listening to
was a bucket.
The execution has been different, but the mission has been the same.
Can I touch you on that for a second? That was a bar.
You like that one?
That was a bar.
You like that one? That one's from Jeff Bezos.
Let's go, baby. This is Josip Vrankic, co-host of the Athletes and Assets podcast. Today we're going to mix it up a little bit. Since Noah loves to hog the mic, I'm going to take over, and I'm going to be the main. Would you say main host?
Take over. Main host.
I got the. Can I show? I got the laptop. I'm in charge now. So yeah. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. We've shot a couple of really good podcasts today.
We shot a couple in a row, and I'm still feeling good though.
I'm first of all, energy's on 10.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it's Friday.
I think it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's me hosting or me kind of having the laptop, but
you're excited. You're way too excited.
I got this newfound energy, and I can't sit still.
Why not?
But I love it. I love it a lot. So I guess my main focus for this one, just to get to know you a little bit more.
You don't know me?
In terms of the ideas behind like entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I wanted to head because, we talk a lot in our lives, but I kind of want to get to know you more on the business side and how you operate and how you run and kind of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes.
There's a lot. I want to, I definitely want to say as much as I can.
Yeah. Cause
I think there's a lot that
you got to keep some stuff under the covers.
I got to keep some stuff under the covers.
You can't let it all go.
Can't let it peep out.
It's like what I mean? The Krusty Krab secret formula. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
You can't pop open the bottle.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to pop out, not sometimes you can't, you know what I mean?
I feel you.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. First question. What was the inspiration behind all this?
Yeah.
Very broad question, but
yeah, I think, I started Athletes and Assets, during the pandemic.
Yeah. Remember that.
Out of despair. That was our year. We had the COVID year.
Correct.
You stuck it out. All credit to you.
I did.
But you were telling me how miserable you were.
It was horrible.
During that season. And, that time I was like, was I going to transfer? Was I going to stick it out a year? I was at a crossroads.
Great call on your end.
And I ended up not participating that season. So I was back home in Houston.
Okay.
While you were in Santa Cruz County, in that motel, getting your cardboard food, workouts, masks on. I knew that I wasn't going to be happy in that situation. And also realized basketball's a momentum sport. If you don't play basketball for a year and then expect to go pro,
you're done.
Or do anything significant, it's not going to work. And so for me, I had a couple positives. And one was like, I got interested in tech and how venture capital fuels the tech ecosystem. I thought that was really cool. And I had an internship my senior year of college in the venture space. Awesome, very enriching. But at the same time, I was depressed because of the basketball situation. A piece of my identity was gone, I felt like.
You were very committed at the time to everything. I mean, you are a committed person, but you were locked in the lab. I remember we spent a lot of hours in the gym. More you than me, but that was definitely.
That was my life.
That was a grind. You were all in, man.
I had the same pro ambitions you had.
Dude,
just couldn't jump as high, wasn't as tall, wasn't as good.
Yeah,
a lot of things were working against me in hindsight. Yeah. But that was my 100% intentions. Not to start a company, not to give entrepreneurial advice.
And for sure, that mindset kind of helped you transition into what you're doing now.
Yeah,
right?
I'll get there for sure. But I started the podcast on Zoom, interviewed some of my buddies who were doing stuff off the court. Started with basketball.
Took me a couple of years to get interviewed, but continue. No. It's not about me. It's about you. Go ahead.
You're making it about you. You weren't doing shit but playing video games and basketball.
Good job. Yeah.
You'd be a great guest for another show at the time, but not the Athletes and Assets podcast. So I kept doing the podcast, and I just never gave up over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying we've made it or anything.
Of course, yeah.
But we do have sort of a special foundation, and it's been a hell of a ride.
The growth has been fun to watch from afar. But another question I want to ask is, so you're going on this path right now, right?
Yeah.
Along the way, besides all the challenges, and obviously there's a lot of hardships you have to face. Did you see yourself pivoting from idea to what your end goal would be? And if you want to talk about it, kind of what those were, like what directions were you heading? What directions are you heading now? Kind of how have you shaped your kind of journey into what it is now?
I can't answer that entire question.
I respect that.
But I will talk about pivoting.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's many times, first of all, I wanted to quit. I mean, 40 times I wanted to quit the podcast. But with podcasting, if you really like doing it, which I do, and you're making good stuff, there's always something the universe brings to you that compels you to keep going. Yeah. So even if I have an episode where I have 3 views, one of those 3 people says some shit to me over the course of 3 years, like, yo, Noah, I heard that episode. Let me connect you to this athlete.
Oh, wow.
And at the meantime, I'm about to finish up the podcast and never do it again. And I'm like, wait, I want to talk to that athlete. That's sick.
Yeah.
So I kept going and going. And I think like with something like podcasting, it's a war of attrition. You have to do it for a long time to be really good at it, unless you come in very famous or very wealthy, which I was neither of the two. But originally I had the idea and thought that with athletes and assets, we could build masterclass, but for athletes.
Right.
So basically a paid subscription platform where people would pay to learn about sales or financial literacy from very well-known, high-profile athletes, and get the athletes to teach or do that stuff. Steph Curry taught basketball and dribbling on Masterclass. So if you're a subscriber to Masterclass, you could like watch a class with Steph Curry teaching. David Rozier, the founder of Masterclass, actually, he has a great story about how he like pitched Steph Curry this idea and like started working with him on this. And Steph Curry was one of his first like people on the platform.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a way to start off a platform with Steph Curry on it.
Especially, dribbling.
So long story short, to make that at that masterclass level requires millions of dollars of production value, the network of athletes, a lot of things that
not easy to get.
Yeah, not
especially
something
from scratch and this late. Because Masterclass was the first of its kind. I feel like, I don't know.
I don't think it was about being late for me.
No?
It was about what it would take to even just match that quality.
Okay.
Forget about the business model, just matching that production quality.
Yeah.
I would have to raise a lot of money that at that time, or I wouldn't be able to raise.
Yeah.
I need to be in the game longer. So when we talk about pivoting, that was one of the ideas. And I said, scrap that. Let's just build a great business within what I'm doing. So the podcasting and newsletter, how can we monetize off that stuff? And we do now.
And you felt that, there was an audience that kind of was interested and wanted that. Like, do you have a specific audience that you're targeting now, or you're kind of just all over the place, whoever wants to listen? Like, was there an idea going into it and that kind of pivoted as well? Or you're kind of still focused on the same kind of group of people?
So the execution has been different, but the mission has been the same. Okay. I want the regular person.
Can I touch you on that for a second? That was a bar.
You like that one?
That was a bar.
You like that one? That one's from Jeff Bezos.
That was Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, that wasn't me. Jeff Bezos said, stubborn on the vision, flexible in the execution.
Okay.
And I think for me, I've always wanted to create something where people could learn about something interesting from athletes outside of the sport. So with business.
Yeah.
I think the way we're learning is changing. You have TikTok, you have short form content, you have
it's hot right now.
You have Udacity, you have Udemy, you have Masterclass, you have all these different ways to learn about different topics. There's so many athletes in different business industries now who now have some things they can say and of things they've learned. So I'm gonna give you 2 options. You can go get an MBA or learn from a Stanford PhD, or you can listen to some of your favorite athletes in this space that they're in the same space you want to learn about because they're going through this themselves. Because now they have enough money to do so.
Super relatable too.
Super relatable, digestible, and that's always been the vision, to teach business through athletes.
It's easier to connect that way. Being like, a lot of people don't know what we went through, like waking up at 6 a.m. and running through, in the morning and on the field and stuff, and these workouts and how tiring your body is.
Yeah.
And if you see someone that's able to do that on top of stuff outside is, it's interesting. And that's why I think you've had, even like seeing some of your podcasts, a lot of athletes are interested in talking about it. Because it is fun to talk about. Like,
I will say we've created one of the first platforms for athletes to have a safe space to talk about business.
Yeah, because when you talk about an athlete on a podcast, you're talking about the sport, you're talking about their workout regimen, stuff like that, but you don't really hear a lot about the athletes themselves talking about what they're doing. You see on the bigger athletes, you see them on media outlets getting talked about, but nothing specifically coming from the source. So that's been also fun to hear about, and I guess, like you said, something that you prioritized and wanted to do.
So every single athlete, even the Michael Jordans of the world, Kobe Bryants, have always wanted to be known as multi-dimensional. Everyone wants to be known for more than just an amazing runner or basketball player. And business is a great way to establish that if you're doing something. And so if an athlete has a win or a project, they want to talk about it. And even if it's not their sole focus, for that couple of minutes, that becomes their identity. And the viewers and the athletes both agree that, like, in the moment, this is cool. This is different.
Yeah, I think athletes have been categorized as, like, the term jocks or dumb athletes have been used for many, many years. And I think for me, at least, I felt like that was a label of mine. I was just known as that basketball player. So I can see how other athletes feel the same way. And the fact they're doing something beyond that is, like, exciting. That is pretty...
And I say this all the time. If you're viewing athletes and assets as a sports media company, we failed. We failed. This is not sports. This is business through a different voice you're not accustomed to hearing. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So happens that the person you're listening to
was a bucket. Except against me. Yeah. Awesome. Speaking of that, I know we're not talking about, when's the last time you got into a little pickup game or stuff like that? You hoop at all?
Oh my God.
I know I shouldn't be talking about that now.
No, I didn't tell you. Bro, I almost got in a scrap last weekend.
What were you?
On the pickup game.
You know what your problem is?
What's my problem?
You're a hothead and you won't accept it.
I'm not a hothead, bro.
That's the problem. You won't accept it.
Dude, some guy pushed Jack at the gym.
Oh, that's where you draw the line.
And I spazzed on him.
Yeah.
I get a little separated. Nothing was thrown.
Yeah.
But I was close.
How's it hooping with that guy, Jack?
So Jack, he can't defend himself on a podcast. But like,
we won't talk about it. Yeah.
No, I think Jack is a really good team player.
Yeah.
He's an instigator. He talks a lot of shit.
Yo, that kid is crazy.
He talks a lot of shit. But no, great.
Yeah. Fun times. All right. This is kind of why I want to ask you that question. You got a lot of stuff going on with the business world. You were a former athlete, so you still have that love for the game, I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure that you do. How do you balance all that? Like, how do you go from these phone calls, from having your brother around, like your social life? Like, has it something that has been a struggle for you? Or do you feel like you do a good job of kind of maintaining everything?
Yes, it's been a struggle.
Okay.
As it should be.
Yeah.
To create something category defining and incredible, there's no balance.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, and my identity is completely wrapped up into this.
You think so?
Because it's me.
Yeah.
This is me in a sense.
So you're all in right now.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
This is me. This is not, social life has been limited. I don't want a vacation. I want to build something that I want to create a legacy and create something that hasn't been done before. And to do that, there's not that much kick in it.
Yeah. For real.
And you said having family around. Like, I think my brother is very talented, very smart.
Very talented.
I just want to put the smartest people around me.
Yeah.
And
how you doing?
Well, also it's good to delegate and know when people are good at something. So maybe they're not the most intelligent, but they have, they look good on camera and all this stuff.
Hey, that's another compliment. We're two today, baby. It's a good day.
But yeah, it's been intense.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, since I've been here, it's nonstop work. It's nice that, we have some times after you're done and stuff in the evenings, but I can really tell that you've dedicated a lot to this, and I respect that, man, for real. So it's not easy, like you said, but I think you do a good job balancing. I know you probably think you don't, but for people who understand what you're going through and stuff, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, I think, a lot of, so this is no different than sports. Entrepreneurship is obsession. And when you're building a company, regardless of the industry, if you're not obsessed, you're probably not going to make it. There's a famous saying from Y Combinator, from Gary Tan, the medium startup fails. And that's anything we do that's like less than great is failure.
How do you learn about that, the entrepreneurial world? Did you something that you were taught? Did you look it up online? Like, this space has been.
Yeah, I think my background and I think this is what I'll say about in venture capital, regardless if you're junior level or not. Venture capital teaches you, it's an awesome way to look at entrepreneurship. Yeah. Because when you're investing in companies, you start, it's about pattern recognition. Mm-hmm. And what is a successful company? What did this? All right, bro, chill. What did the successful ones do?
Yeah.
But we need to get short form clips out of this, bro. Like,
dude, what do you want to do?
I think venture capital, having venture capital experience or knowing about venture capital is super helpful because it's about pattern recognition. And even if you've never built a company before, you start picking up on trends and things about entrepreneurship and lessons learned. And I don't know, I just started consuming a lot of entrepreneurship media and doing a lot of research on like the best accelerators and where the best companies come from. When you're an athlete, as a basketball player, you're trying to figure out who's the best and why they're so good. So what do?
Study film, baby.
No, you go on the ESPN Top 100 and you look at the rankings and you see who's the best player. Who do I have to go at?
Yeah, that's facts.
Now, entrepreneurship, you probably go on Y Combinator's top startup list and see who the best companies are, who the founders, what their background, and then maybe I try to. And then what do you do when you see a guy who's in the top 25? Go on YouTube, look at his highlights.
Study film.
If I see a dope entrepreneur, I see if there's any podcasts on him, I give him advice. Study film.
Yeah. How much of your learning process has been through like trial and error, would you say? Just trying stuff out, not working, going to the next thing. I think that's more dominant, or like you said, doing your research, going on these podcasts, getting these ideas.
Yeah, great question.
How do you see that balance?
Great question. So one of my favorite quotes from Brian Armstrong of Coinbase: action produces information. So we've done and tried a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And we're still trying a lot of shit, but every time we do so, we learn a little bit more. And it's not this aha moment where it's like life-changing, but if you do 100 different actions, you'll learn so much through that time. And so I think there's some things in media where you got to get it right the first time. Mm-hmm. But I also think there's a lot of things with company building that you'll need to trial with.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mix.
Yeah. And from those experiences, do you think that obviously you have gained a lot of skills and knowledge, but how much have you grown in terms of your ability to be an entrepreneur and to, obviously you haven't got too many subordinates yet, but in terms of leadership and stuff, like, do you feel yourself growing? And how has that felt like for you just developing as a person?
That's that's really deep. Yeah. I think entrepreneurship has really helped me learn a lot more about myself than I would otherwise. First of all, entrepreneurship to me is a muscle. If I stop lifting, I get skinnier. If I stop being an entrepreneur, I kind of you'll lose touch with like what it takes to build a company, et cetera.
Yeah.
And the longer I'm in the game, every week I feel smarter and smarter, mm-hmm. and feel more comfortable about doing different things. And actually, we think entrepreneurs like do thousands of different tasks every day. Yeah. I think the best ones create a system where they're focusing on one huge task a week and accomplishing it, or going really deep on one thing and being very good at it. Ultimate focus.
Yeah. Do you target specific things you want to work on, or it just happens over time? Like, do you say, okay, this week I really want to get better at interacting with guests, speaking on the phone with different, I don't know, sponsors or stuff like that. Like, do you have a goal in what you want to work on, or does you just kind of get thrown together and then you just overall it kind of happens?
I definitely advise a to-do list for any aspiring entrepreneur. So every week I map out the week and provide a to-do list of what I think needs to get done that day. Okay. Now, things are dynamic, things change. So
absolutely,
it's hard to stick to the script. I'll say that. And I'm trying to get better at it. But you want to know what the A+ problem is going into your week. The A+ problem is the number one thing you wish to accomplish. If you're fundraising, that's the A+ problem, not how many, how many people I talk to on the sponsorship side. Like if you're actually fundraising, that should be like, you're all in. So it's really hard to be 1 foot in here, 1 foot here.
Yeah.
I think the lesson, like the biggest advice is focus and velocity.
I was going to ask you, you already said you brought up to give some advice for someone I know you're just starting out, you're super new, like all that stuff, but someone in the early, I'm talking like a few weeks in, kind of, what would your advice be to them to like keep going? Not about being successful, not about like, how do you keep motivated? And what do you recommend for other people to kind of have that similar mindset of just keep going?
In the first few weeks?
I don't know, a few months, weeks.
Because assuming if you decided to start a company for a few weeks, you're on the honeymoon phase.
Sorry, okay.
I mean, you're like so excited, right? I'm just saying.
Like a year in and you're not where you want to be at.
Yeah.
Like what are your like thoughts on, how you kept going? And stuff like that.
Time matters.
Yeah.
So when we got to the 1 year, I celebrated, even though we had no, like when we hit the 1 year anniversary of incorporating, we celebrated. That's a big deal. Yeah. That's a really big deal in my opinion. You get to year 2, you should have a bigger celebration.
Yeah,
you get to year 3, I'm gonna have a bigger celebration. Hey. I mean, I do think time matters. I think obviously we've all heard this oversaturated media of like most startups fail. The longer you do it, statistically, like the bigger chance you have to succeed. No, well, it could be a startup if you still have a small team, but you gotta find ways to keep re-energizing yourself with the work. And I said this, I wrote this in our newsletter. We talk about burnout.
Okay.
Like, do I get burnt out?
Yeah.
If I feel burnt out, vacation's not going to solve that. It means I'm doing something that sucks and it's not working, and I actually need to like fix it or do something that gets me really excited. So this internal feeling of burnout goes away.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I had a coach one time tell me that he doesn't believe in sacrifice. He said that sacrificing means something, you're giving up something else that you would rather do. And he said that in terms of basketball, if you have to sacrifice something, you're not fully committed to basketball. So it was interesting, like hearing that.
Yeah.
And then kind of relating it back to you're saying like you're burning out. If you're loving what you're doing and you're having a great time and you're enjoying it and it's your, like you said, your identity.
Yeah.
You're not sacrificing. You're doing it because that's you,
Yeah.
So I do see what you mean by that.
Yeah. It's a marathon, obviously. Like it's super cliche, but you have to find ways to have fun with it.
Yeah.
So I can't say a way we've had fun lately with A&A because I don't want to spoil our new drop.
Why?
We have a drop coming.
Hey, listen.
We have some news coming.
Announcements that are coming, so stay tuned.
Yeah. I don't want to show it yet. I don't want to show it yet.
Don't point it out.
I don't want to show it yet.
You got a little stretch going this way. What was that?
I don't want to show it yet. But that's like, do stuff that you find fun.
Yeah.
Building a company.
What's the old saying? The moment I stop having fun with it, I'm going to be done with it.
Ooh.
You heard that one before.
I did. I was trying to act like it was novel. It's not. But yeah. You're right.
That's awesome. So how long has it been since you started A&A?
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Oh, over 3.5 years.
In the process, in the 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Was there anything looking back at that you would want to change, do different, or are you proud? Obviously you're proud, 100%. But Is there one thing that you're like, oof, or one thing you wish you would have known?
Yeah.
Change. Just one thing you wish you would have known.
Get on YouTube earlier.
YouTube.
Yeah, I should have gone on YouTube earlier. We were just audio for a long time.
Yeah.
I think the algorithm rewards, lengthened, or like it rewards sticking with it. I wish we were earlier in shorts where the algorithm would have pushed our stuff out more. And
you think it was as popular as it is now back then? I mean,
yes,
TikTok was huge in COVID actually, so that definitely would have.
Yes,
that's kind of where it blew up. Yeah,
I wish. You know what? I wish I started this company earlier.
Oof. Can I get something for that or no? Something for that.
My only regret is not starting this earlier. Because I've learned that a lot about entrepreneurship. Yeah, I think my previous work experience helped.
What I was going to say. You definitely gained some stuff from that to help you,
But also...
You would have figured it out anyways.
Yeah. I would have. So... I don't know how much that's helped.
Yeah.
Because age, work experience goes out the door when you're making something that's categorically new.
Correct. Yeah. I do see that. Anything in the future that you're excited to talk about, that you want to talk about, or you want to keep it rolling as we're going, just kind of when it pops up type of thing?
I think we have a lot of exciting stuff down the line. Cool. There are a lot of athletes we're excited to work with.
Nice.
And
how's it been? Like from where you were trying to get athletes in 2021 to now, have you seen increase of athletes being interested? Like, I assume back then you'd have to reach out now. Has there been any athletes reaching out to you saying, has there been that kind of transition? And how does that feel like in your point of view, like having that sort of
So transition? This one goes at this message goes out to all the podcast guests out there. Like, we get inbound from some amazing people. Yeah. And we still shoot out cold emails like it's 2021.
Of course.
And I swear I will never change that mentality. Yeah. Never too big to go and reach out for someone.
Of course.
Especially because we're still niche.
Yeah.
We'll take, it happens from all angles.
Of course.
Referral. Yeah. Inbound.
Of course.
Outreach.
And all the athletes that's been on, we appreciate y'all. More Noah than me, but hey, I appreciate y'all too. Yeah.
You sound more appreciative than I do in the way you said it.
Did that sound?
Yeah, you said you like, I appreciate y'all.
It's fun to watch, man. Have you noticed that your interviews have been different? Like from when you started till now? One, in terms of how you communicate with your guests, and two, into the content that you're producing.
Yeah.
Has the content shifted at all?
A little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. I think we used to go all over the place now. Yeah. Now we're just really focused on the business athletes are building. Yeah. So I think we've niched down that regard. Now we're targeting mainly entrepreneurial athletes versus athletes who, ex-athletes who were working a 9 to 5, which I thought was awesome. I think for us, we want to really niche down this content more. So entrepreneurial focused. Okay. So we want to give more entrepreneurial advice.
Big time.
That's the biggest change. I think also, more reps. I've been a better speaker and I'm comfortable on camera, comfortable speaking. I think that has an effect on the content. Also, like naturally transitioning the conversation. Yeah. And making it less interviewee, more conversational.
Of course. How jealous are you of my flow? And why did I inspire you to get a haircut that looks exactly like mine?
First of all,
we'll get back to the business later. I'm just really curious. First of all, I'm looking in the thing right now and you're not copying me, but
I'm not
you kind of want what yeah, but I started the flow thing and you kind of did it right after me. So I'm just wondering, like, what's your thought process behind that? As a kind of big brother figure to you. That's kind of like a...
Shut your ass up. I did not get...
Can you explain why? Because I'm pretty sure the guests want to know.
Look, man.
What happened?
This is the delusional confidence you have to have sort of in life. No one's copying you, bro. And I have like...
Dude, I had the flow during COVID. And then the next time I see you, you have long hair just like mine.
First of all, you had a buzz cut. You've been cutting your hair.
Okay, I grow it out, then I buzz it. But there was a moment where I had it. And the next time I saw you had it too. During graduation. Thank you.
Look, dude, and no one's copying you, bro. I've had this for a while now. So...
Yeah, but that's not where I was hitting that. I started it and then I think you should commit fully though.
The problem is it gets curly, not flowy.
My hair is super straight and yeah, it looks good though. I like the size.
Thanks, man. This is what people here came for.
Yeah, sorry. I got sidetracked.
All good.
How was my first time being a host? Well, what are your thoughts on that? Let's talk about me a little bit. Now I'm tired of talking about you. Now let's go to me. How was it?
You are high potential, work in progress.
High potential, work in progress. I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, do you want me to elaborate or like?
No, I'm good. I don't want my ego to get hit as much as I feel like is going to.
Although you wouldn't know that I'm the host, by the way. You've corrected me on some of my stuff.
Yeah, I love this. This is a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. Was there anyone kind of there to help you or guide you when you're going through this process, or was it just straight you doing your own thing?
Well, lots of credit to my dad.
Okay. Nice.
My dad, huge, really instrumental in helping me think through a bunch of things. He's really good at like scheduling, planning, organizing, like mapping on a plan. That's kind of the MBA in him.
Yeah.
Huge credit to him for this journey. So that
Do you think having someone who's been in that situation before that would help you? You think that would have guided you more, or do you prefer kind of doing your own thing? Like if you had some sort of a mentor or someone.
Here is something I would love to also bring up. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I think it's our job as entrepreneurs to hear as many points as possible, but the key to your success will be what you synthesize. How do you synthesize information? What do you take and what do you leave off the table? Not every idea from a person is something I'm going to take. For sure. And I can be very stubborn on what I take and don't take. And so a lot of people may think it goes in one ear throughout the other, but your job, regardless of what you're working on, is to surround yourself with the smartest people possible, and still you won't use everything that they give you. It's your job to synthesize that information.
Yeah, Shaq said something like, if he's the smartest person in the room, or what do you say? He said that in his team, he doesn't want to be the smartest person. Like he always wants to surround himself with people who are more adequate and know more about what like he's trying to do for his branding and stuff like that. I'm not sure his exact quote, but I think that kind of applies.
Essentially you're saying you want to surround yourself with incredibly smart people. And that's what I want to do. And, I want people in this company that are way better than me at the skill set they're working on, or else we got a problem. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Has networking been a big part of that? Trying to like network and gain people to work with, or is this kind of
so podcasting is such an organic networking tool.
Okay.
I think for anyone listening, even if it's not your main occupation, having a podcast is an excuse to meet whoever you want. And if you make something cool enough, podcast, product, you get to meet a lot of cool people. So you do great work, that's your best networking hack, because when you make something great, you get to meet people as a equal, not as a fan.
Okay.
And that changes the dynamic of your relationship that you thought, you would have.
Nice. Well, that's all I have today. Thank you, Noah Lack, for
appreciate the questions.
Yeah, I don't know how you usually close it off. By the way, you're an impressive guy, man. Fun to be around.
Hey, we try to keep it spicy around here.
How do you usually close off? I want to do it. You don't do it. Just tell me how to do it.
Tell you this has been another episode. I'm your host X, and this is another episode of the Athletes and Assets podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe.
All right, one more time. I got it. Another amazing episode of the Athletes and Assets podcast. This is your co-host, Josip Vrankic, along with
Noah Lack.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you like, subscribe, follow, comment, all that good stuff. I don't know if y'all will be seeing me for a while, but I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I appreciate it. And bye.
Why did you that was so soft?
What do you mean?
Put some fucking bass in your chest.
No, well, I'm not going to yell why would I yell? How would you do it?
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning into another great episode. This has been Noah Lack and Josip Vrankic, co-host of the Athletes and Assets podcast. Please like, subscribe, tune in. We'll see you for the next one.
Comment on whose outro was better. Mine. Thank you.